Travel nurse companies in review. Meridian Medical Staffing. Hi, it's Susan Isley. Welcome to today's episode of iTravel Nurse TV. Nice to see ya. Meridian Medical Staffing is located in Colorado. It is a company that I have worked for up in Alaska. So I'm going to tell you the scoop on Meridian Medical Staffing. Now, Meridian Medical Staffing, like most travel companies, they usually find people like us through either job posting boards or like Monster, or they find our resumes online and they contact us. Well, Meridian Medical Staffing, one of the recruiters named Brian, contacted me when I was down in Los Angeles, California, back in the summer of 2012. And they had an excellent contract up in Bethel, Alaska. Sounded like a great deal. It was $45 an hour. And then the hospital provided housing, so there was nothing coming out of my paycheck as far as housing costs, and $45 an hour, plus I got a real overtime rate based on $45 an hour, not some kind of crap that certain companies try to pull under a tax advantage program. So hey, it sounded like a sweet deal. And on top of that, Meridian Medical Staffing flew me up from Los Angeles, California, up to Bethel, Alaska to work. That is something that's actually common for companies that are contracting in Alaska to do, is to fly up their nurses to Alaska because the hospital reimburses the company at 100%. So Meridian Medical Staffing did that, plus they went the extra mile because I just didn't feel like chalking out $300 and something for an Alaska license. They actually paid for my license for Alaska, for the Alaska Board of Nursing up front. So it all sounded good to start off with, sounded great. Okay, when I got up there, there were some challenges. Now, you know, we all need routine health maintenance to keep in compliance with Joint Commission standards, you know, having physicals every year and different, you know, vaccinations and so forth. Well, I went to use my insurance that Meridian Medical Staffing provided, and apparently was approved when I went to a clinic, but then later on I got a bill, and the company, the healthcare insurance company that Meridian Medical Staffing had actually denied the claim, and I got a bill for it, and that issue was never resolved. And then on top of that, when it came to the end of the contract, by the contract and per Alaska state law, and I need to emphasize this, per Alaska law, apparently, you know, people, no matter what company it is, whether it's a travel nurse company or another corporation that contracts people in Alaska, apparently they cannot, you know, bring somebody up to Alaska and then just leave them in Alaska. Well, unfortunately, that's what happened. You know, I couldn't reach this Brian, my recruiter with Meridian Medical Staffing. You know, they knew my contract was ending, and my recruiter took no steps to even find me a new contract, tried to renew my contract there at Bethel, and then they left me stranded in Bethel, Alaska, and made no arrangements for my flight home, either arrangements for my flight back to the lower 48 states or to another travel assignment, and that is a huge no-no. So they're in a lot of trouble for that. But now, thankfully, I had a contract with Alaska Native Medical Center up in Anchorage, Alaska, and they flew me out of Bethel, but Meridian Medical Staffing did not. Now, I was apologized to later on by Mark Holloway, who is the manager for Meridian Medical Staffing, and apparently Brian, my recruiter, is no longer with the company. So, you know, I said I would work for them again. You know, the insurance issue never got resolved, that healthcare bill that I got. So then anyway, I took a contract with Meridian Medical Staffing up in Barrow, Alaska. They did the same thing, but at that time they flew me out of Houston, Texas, and I went up to Barrow, Alaska. But then when the end of the contract came, no steps were taken to get me out of Barrow, Alaska. So that is the second hit. And like I said, apparently that is an Alaska state law that you cannot bring people up there and then just leave them there stranded. So Meridian Medical Staffing did that twice. So that's two big hits on Meridian Medical Staffing. Now, I was supposed to have insurance on the second contract and never even got the insurance information, so I don't even know if the insurance went through on my second contract with them. So now, as far as actually getting a contract, it does look like Meridian Medical Staffing can get somebody a contract, be in compliance, and actually get somebody to an assignment, but whether or not they do anything for their travelers once they get there, that's a whole nother story. And then something is wrong with their health care plan, whatever company that they're using at this point. And so I would consider that their health insurance to be unreliable. Now, Meridian Medical Staffing is a smaller company, is based out of Colorado. So I would give them a thumbs down at this point as far as signing up with them, or taking a travel contract until they get their corporation, get some of these intrinsic problems within their corporation fixed. But thumbs down signing up for Meridian Medical Staffing. I think they'll leave you in a dangerous situation, or they won't provide services that they are supposed to do per their contract. So that's today's episode of I Travel Nurse TV. I'll see you next time.